Hello, good morning, all of you. In today's presentation, we will discuss supervision. Before starting supervision, I want to ask some questions relating to the topic previously taught. So, my first question is, which function of management makes the organization functional? Think over it. You can note down this question. Which function of management makes the organization functional? Let me help you. Is it planning? Is it organizing? Is it staffing? Or is it directing? Yes, this is directing. Directing. Directing makes the function management as functional. If directing is not present, then you will have various positions filled with subordinates, but in real sense, organization will not become functional. Now, one more question. How can you say directing is pervasive? Yes, think over it. How can you say directing is pervasive? Okay, directing is pervasive. It can be understood in two ways. It is required everywhere. It is required everywhere means in all types of organization. It is required, and it is required at all levels of management, at top level, middle level, and lower level. So in this way, if we integrate the both things, then we understand that directing is pervasive. It is required everywhere. Hope this question helps you to understand. Now, next question is, how does directing help to cope up with changes? Yes, you see how directing helps to cope up with changes. Think over it and answer. Adapting to the environmental changes. All of a sudden, sometime any type of environmental change comes. Sometime environment take a shape, a new shape technically. Sometime environment take a new shape climatically. Sometime environment take shape, a new shape politically. Sometime social dimensions become dominant. So these changes can be coped up with the help of directing only. So how does directing help to cope up with changes? Directing helps to cope up with changes by removing the nervousness and by guiding, by instructing time to time, by overseeing the work of subordinate in effective manner, like this. Next question is, why does an organization need stability? Stability is very important. Without stability, organization cannot be effectively functional. So why does an organization need stability? The answer is stability is important since it is significant for the growth of organization. Let us discuss one more last question for today before starting the new topic. How are resources utilized in efficient way by directing? Yes, directing ensures that the resources are efficiently utilized. So, what do you mean by efficient utilization of resources? We discussed in the previous lecture. Utilization of resources is ensured in two ways. Number one, wastage of resources should be made either zero or at least minimized. And number two, duplication of work should be minimized or should be made zero. Duplication of work means the same work is done by more than one employee without requirement, or because of misunderstanding, the same employee performs the same task twice or more than twice, more than once, you can say. So, after taking a view over what we discussed yesterday, now let us move to today's topic, that is supervision. Now, children, you see, there are different elements of directing. First of all, let us see elements of directing. Yes, directing has four elements: supervision, right? Number two, motivation. Number three, leadership. And last one, number four, communication. So these are four elements of directing. We will take one by one these different elements. Today we are going to discuss supervision. So first of all, you see, what is supervision? The word supervision, it can be understood in two ways. Number one is, supervision can be understood as an element of directing. Element of directing. Yes. Supervision is the process of guiding the efforts of employees and other resources to accomplish the desired objectives. It means overseeing what is being done by the subordinates and instructing. Instructing to ensure optimum utilization of resources for achievement of targets, organizational objectives. So, as an element of directing, if we discuss supervision, so we focus upon these words: guiding, overseeing, and instructing. Now, there is one more way to understand supervision. It can be understood as the function to be performed by supervisor. Yes. There are two ways this we have understood as the function to be performed by supervisor. Supervision can be understood as the function to be performed by a supervisor, a managerial position in the organization hierarchy at the operational level, immediate above the workers. These are workers, and suppose this person is overseeing the activities of these different subordinates, subordinate 1, subordinate 2, subordinate 3, and so on. He is called supervisor. The function and performance of supervisor are very vital to any organization because he is directly related with workers. Above these workers, this supervisor is directly employed. Whereas other managers have no direct touch with bottom level workers. These bottom level workers work under this supervisor. Other heads who are working for the management are not in the direct touch of these subordinates. So, we can understand supervision as an element of directing and as the function of supervisor. Now, to understand it in a better way, we will understand its features, different features. Supervision features. Now see, supervision feature is number one feature direct touch to subordinates, workers we should say. As we have just discussed, supervisor is in the direct touch of workers. So this is the first feature of supervision. Number two, leader. Supervisor is a leader for subordinates, for workers. Workers, whenever is in the trouble, either regarding what to do, or regarding how to do, or regarding when to do, etc., then supervisor helps the worker. So, supervisor works as a leader for subordinates. So, this leadership is a very important feature of supervision. Next is activity of management. Supervision is called as activity of management. Management shows its activity through supervision. If supervision is absent, then workers may never have the sense that management is active or management does anything. So, Supervision is activity of management. After understanding different features of supervision, now let us discuss its importance. Why supervision is important? Why supervision is important? Number one, scheduling of work. Scheduling of work. Scheduling of work. What does it mean? A supervisor's role is to plan the work. Plan the work. Plan the work schedule. Right? By guiding them the nature of the work. Nature of work. Supervisor, first of all, plan a work schedule. This work is to be done at this time, and various tasks have different nature. Some tasks may have some hazardous nature also, which can attract a direct resistance from the side of worker. This nature of work need to be made clear to worker, and if any reservation is there, then that has to be sorted out. So scheduling of work is very important, and supervision becomes an effective tools because of this. Leadership and guidance. Leadership and guidance. A supervisor is a leader. He is above them, workers, worker 1, worker 2, worker 3, etc. So, over this team, this supervisor is working as a leader. He is guiding. He is guiding them. He leads the worker and influences them to perform efficiently. You keep this thing in the mind. Supervisor can influence their behavior. Influence. Influence the behavior. It is said normally, it is said nowadays that you don't lead by hitting people over the head. That is assault. That is assault, not leadership. Leadership is influencing, not authority. You see here, it is very important quote. You don't lead by hitting people over the head. Over the head, hitting over the head means if you are merely guiding them or if you are threatening them, So it means this is a hitting over their head. This is called assault. This is not leadership. Leadership is influencing the behavior. It is not exercising the authority all the time. So, supervisor is a leader. He guides and influences the behavior of workers. That's why supervisor becomes important. Supervision is important because of this reason, motivating workers. Motivating workers. During supervision, a supervisor divides the work in a manner that makes every person feel the responsibility for an important job in the organization. By getting this kind of importance, an employee feels motivated and perform in an efficient manner. Various workers are there who are working. They are all put on work in such a manner that their work is integrating with other, and everybody feels that his work is important. Now the worker 1 feels that if he performs, only then worker 2 will be able to perform. Similarly, worker 2 may feel that his job, his task is very important. Otherwise, worker 3 may stop. He may become idle. Sometime, worker 3 may not be able to perform till he gets task prepared by worker 1 and worker 2. So, this is the automatic motivating force. If you have kept these different workers on different jobs, on different tasks, in a psychological manner also, then one will push other in a positive manner. So, because of this motivating tendency, supervision becomes very, very important. Number 4 is linking pin. Linking pin. A supervisor proves to be a linking pin between management, this is management, and here the workers. Right? Supervisor is in the way. Supervisor is a linking pin between management and workers. What does it mean? Supervisor narrates the problems or grievances, if any, of workers to management. Similarly, supervisor helps workers to understand what are the expectations of management. What is the new policy? He explains them what work is needed. What are the new dimensions added to the working environment, etc. So, like this, the supervisor is a mediocre between management and worker, and he keeps them integrated through him. So, it can be very well called as linking pin. Okay. Now, next is handling grievances. Handling grievances. A supervisor listens to the grievances and complaints of workers, complaints, grievances of workers and work to resolve all these issues. He communicates the grievances of the workers to the top management. Now you see, there are so many complaints or grievances from the side of workers. Suppose a worker is all of a sudden becomes absent. He has to take a leave. Then other worker is given the duty of that worker who has taken a leave all of a sudden. Then other worker may feel overburdened. He may put his complaint. So these little things take place daily, regularly. All cannot be communicated to top. Otherwise, top will not be able to focus upon his real working. So, supervisor plays a very wonderful role in handling grievances. If he sees, if supervisor feels that there is any very particular grievance which cannot be handled at his level, then he exercises discretion and he forward that grievance to the top management. It may be regarding replacement of a machine. Suppose a machine is creating problems daily and supervisor has encouraged the worker to work with the same machine, but it is creating accidents and now it has become very risky to work with that machine. So in that case, handling has become very tough now for the supervisor. So he can forward that complaint to top level management. But what complaints should reach top should be well filtered. And I know that supervisor plays a very wonderful role in such filtration. Number 6 is maintaining discipline. Maintaining discipline. Discipline is a core element of success of any organization. A supervisor enforces the rules and regulation among the subordinates. He strictly watches them. He guides them timely and teach them about the work. Like this, he maintains a level of discipline there. All this leads to a healthy and disciplined environment in the organization. Clear, which is must to get success, to touch the organizational objectives. So supervisor, first of all, maintains the discipline among subordinates. Top level or middle level management can frame policies which can help in maintenance of discipline overall in the organization. But when the question comes how discipline can be created among workers who don't understand the language of management, who are not well versed with managerial terms, but if they are working in a coordinated manner, only then top level or middle level management can become successful. So, maintaining that environment becomes the responsibility of supervisor, and supervisor plays a very wonderful role in maintaining discipline. Now, let us see one more point of understanding the importance of supervisor. Improves communication. Improves communication. Whenever a situation of dispute arises, between workers and the management. Suppose you see here management and workers. Suppose a situation may arise which can create a trouble for the organization as a whole. Workers are thinking to go on a strike. So supervisor come in the way and he communicate their real spirits to management as well as the real feedback of management to the workers. And sometime it happens that by improving such type of communication, the misunderstanding of workers is sorted out and organization once again starts working in the right direction. Whenever a situation of dispute arises, the main reason for it is lack of communication. Yes. It also happen in our own level also sometime because of poor communication or because of no communication we develop misunderstanding about our friends. But if any proper channel of communication emerge, then all misunderstandings are removed. Similarly, in organizational environment, communication, improvement of communication is very important tool. The supervisor gives orders and direction to his subordinates and provides feedback to the management. This helps in reducing conflicts and improving communication between workers and management. Sometimes the problems of miscommunication take place between workers and management, and sometimes um, the problem of workers among workers can also take place. Suppose these are various workers and there is no communication among them, right? Suppose this worker has been spoken to come at 8 o'clock, but this worker does not know what is the time, what is the new timings, and is coming at 8:30. So this worker is waiting for this worker to come and then to start the work. Like this worker may feel punished or penalized, right? So this type of misunderstanding sometimes hampers the environment of organization, and it is improved by establishing a proper improved communication system. Supervision helps in this direction. That's why supervision is called as a very important element. It is a separate element of directing. So today we discussed only one element, that is supervision. So you take care, you revise it, and in the next lectures we will see other elements of directing. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.